Hello YouTubers, got a shop project here. I've got this blacksmithing leg vise or post vise, whatever you want to call it. I want to make a stand for it. This one's going to be a little different than my big permanent stands, permanent movable stands. I've got everything I need right here on the welding table or beside it, but I need to get a measurement on this. So I'm going to set it up here. And this is a nice one. This is a nice vise. Let's take a look at the rest of my parts, and then we'll come back to measuring this, and then you'll know what measurements I gotta have. Okay, let's start with the base. It's a smaller base than the other ones, and it's not round. It's a big round end oval or something. And I've got 4 holes in it that should be large enough for a 1/2 inch bolt to fit through. That's if you want to bolt it to your floor. Now, I'm also trying to make it so that it might be portable, so you could take it to a show or a rendezvous type of thing, or demonstration where you could set it out in a yard, and I'm going to show you how to fasten it down to the ground. This is a 1-inch thick donut that will get welded down on here for the foot of the leg vise to set in. And I might have to put a little bead of weld around here to make the diameter a little smaller so that it fits the foot nice and tight. But I'm not going to weld this to the vise because I don't want to destroy anything on the vise. The history of it, you know, they're a collector's item in my opinion. And here's the top. I'm going to use the same type top as I've used on other ones. Places to put your tongs and your hammers. But what I'm thinking of is using 2 of these to make it a hold down, to hold it to the ground, to keep it from tipping and rocking, and make it a little more solid if you're out in one of those demonstrations. And then I've got an I-beam right here that I got to cut to length. I'm going to put my little saw to work. So I got to measure from the flange on the bottom of the vise foot or leg up to what will be mounted to this plate. So I got to subtract a 1/2 inch from this, from that length, because it'll be sitting on top of here. And then I've got to add 1 inch, so that's just adding a 1/2 inch total to the length of that I'm about to measure. Okay, I set the vise right here, and I'm going to measure from here to the bottom of this flange on the leg, and then I'm going to add a 1/2 inch because that I-beam is going to go clear down to the plate on the bottom. And I've got 31.5, so I got to cut that little I-beam 32 inches long. Okay, what I always do is I just bring this down, stick it up against my leg so it's not actually down on the material, because I don't want to bend any of the teeth or break them. Get this to 32 inches. Tighten my little vise. I'm going to move my clamp over a little bit. The other end down here was cut at work on a big bandsaw, so I know it's square. 32 inches. Always keep a tape measure right there so it's handy when I need it. Let's turn the saw on. I've never cut anything this big with my little saw. Well, that went pretty quick. Now let's see how straight and square it is. It doesn't look bad from just looking at it. That edge is pretty good. So is that? I can live with all that. Let's move on to the next step real quick. Okay, this is not a critical thing, but you might as well try to hit it as close as possible. And what I did was I made a straight line down the center. I measured over 2.5 inches because the base of that thing is a little under 4 inches. So I wanted to be able to center the center hole up on the line and then measure in to the edges of the mounting plate for the vise to make sure it was not skewed. And then I have to decide how far out I want to mount it. I think I'm going to go ahead and mount it all the way on. I know I'm just going to eyeball the two sides to make sure I'm reasonably close. Okay, I got them marked. I really like this little blue pencil, or not blue, it makes a silver mark and it really shows up well. It's kind of a soft marking pencil. Okay, let's go to the drill press. I'm going to punch mark those that go to the drill press and drill them. Always get a little mark until you're sure you're right. Then you can get a little rowdy with it. Okay, I'm going to take it over to the drill press and drill pilot holes and then finish the holes out to the correct diameter, which will be about 9/16, so I can get a nice half-inch bolt through there. And I got a little play, so if I'm off just a fuzz, everything will be good. I don't think you need to see me drill some holes, so I'll be back here in a minute. On second thought, I'd show you how nice this drill bit cuts. This is one of them that I sharpened the other day, and I just saw Black Bear Forge use an Eagle Oiler. This one here has a modified front on it that you can adjust your angles. I don't know who did that, but that's the way it was when I got it. But these Eagle Oilers are super nice. I'm just putting a light bit of pressure on it, and I don't like to have those big long curls come up. I'd rather just keep them short. So I kind of do what they call a bump. I just drill a little bit, stop, so it cuts off that curl. Whatever you do, if you got one of those curls swinging around your drill bit, do not grab hold of it and try to get it off of there, because they will cut you and cut you deep. I'm not even sure what size drill bit this is. I'm just drilling drilling pilot holes, then I'll run my 9/16 bit in there. But those bits are nice and sharp. I wouldn't waste my time sharpening new drill bits that you get nowadays unless you buy high quality ones, because my wife bought me a set of Craftsman drill bits for Christmas a couple years ago, and one of the bits was bent before I'd ever even used it. I put it in my drill press here, and it was spinning on the bottom like that, and I couldn't get it straightened out. I've got a whole bunch of old bits that I've bought at sales and when I bought my shop, and I got a lot of good quality bits. Okay, right here's that 9/16 bit I sharpened the other day. That's the largest one I've ever sharpened on that machine. Let's see how that cuts. I'd say it did pretty good. Okay, I have my top clamped down here with a couple big clamps. I've got some half inch and a half long bolts, washers, lock washers, and nuts. Let's see how I did on my marking and drilling. Well, that worked. Now to see if I can get this all together. Inch and a half is plenty long. There, she'll sit there. Now I can use two hands. One thing I didn't get was any wrenches to tighten them up. So that part's done. Let me get the wrenches and tighten it up, and then we'll move on from here. Well, I drew a line, center line, and then I came over an inch and a half and put another line because this is 3-inch wide. I'm running into a little bit of trouble on another project on my legvice because this wasn't square and straight with the leg of the legvice. It was just cocked off to the side a little bit, and I'm trying to put a brace on here out to the leg of the legvice. So this one here is going to be nice and straight. Then I'll put the center of my donut right on this center line, which is coming up. Boy, this vise is taller than my other one. Gotta be careful how I weld this on because I want it centered on the top here too. I'm just going to tack this because it doesn't want to stand here. think that's good and centered. Everything looks good to me, so it's time to fasten it all in place. Let's see if I can weld upside down. Didn't seem too bad. Hardest part is getting turned upside down so I can see what I'm doing. Then I think that'll hold. Okay, here's kind of the mock-up of what I want on the back. That way I can tip it this way and then roll it on these little lawnmower wheels. That's a 1/2 inch shaft going through some brackets I had. I've got the center line, I got each of them to the inside 2 1/4. That gives me enough space between here and here on the wheels that when I tip it up, they will get this off the ground and roll. Let's get it tacked in place before it moves. Just going to tack this edge on both of them. Now I'm going to check and make sure nothing moved. Good. Now I'll get the far side and then I'll weld all the way along both outside edges. Now I've got to go drill holes in each end of this for cotter pins so I can put washers, the wheel, and cotter pin on both sides to hold the wheels where I want them. And I think I'm going to, when I get back to work, burn some little gussets to go from here out to here, because when you tip this up, the weight's going to be pushing this back that way. So I'm going to put some little gussets on there. I don't have any small ones that would work. It'd be like maybe 1 inch here and 2 inches out this way, just to support it. Maybe even put one underneath it. I don't know if it's necessary, but like I said, better safe than sorry. Okay, I made a mark back a 1/2 inch and made a punch mark on each end. Now I've got a V-block set in here and it's got a hole in the center, and that's perfect for my drill bit to go down through. Center it up there a little bit. And then you'll lay this on there and that'll help keep the round from trying to roll on you. I'm going down through the center of it before I start going down. This isn't rocket science, so close is close enough. Just have a little bit of pressure on it and just walking down through there. When I get close to where I think I'm going to poke through, I slow down. Very little vertical. I'm going to line up, put a washer on there, the wheel, another washer, and line up and find out about where I need to put that other hole. Okay, looking at it from here, looks like I might have to tip that thing way back to get it up on those wheels. That's a good way to pinch your fingers. Yeah, the wheels aren't even on the ground yet. Right there. Actually, then the handle works as a good handle. Let me get that stuff out of the way and we'll see what we can do. I think that's going to work fine. It'd be nice if the wheels were down lower so that I didn't have to tip it over so far, but I think I can live with it. If not, I'll just get a little bit larger diameter wheels, because I could go probably another 1.5 or 2 inches on the diameter. That might be a thing to do too. So we're going to go, this is phase 1's complete. Phase 2 is going to be how we mount it down to the floor or out in the yard if we're doing a demonstration out in a camp area or like a rendezvous or one of these Renaissance fairs that doesn't have a place to mount it down solid. We're going to figure out a way of mounting it down solid.